Alright, this is a Center for Enlightenment production as well. This is the Book of Remembrance, History, Religion, and Psychedelics by Entheogen. And if you look closely at this lily, it says I am up at the top, which is God's name. And these curls here are actually cross-sections of the mushroom, denoted with the artist has carefully put the gills in here in the caps, at least on one of them. So the dedication is, I am the Lord your God, the God of Gentiles and of Jews. My Son died for your sins. His body is my name. No longer will the name be an enigma for the nations. Those who attempt to block this book will suffer withering diseases and trouble, no doubt. The Lord Almighty. I got that in a vision on psilocybin before writing this book, as something that God wanted said. Alright, this is hard to see, but this is what's called a parallel argument. And it basically says if there are pictures of psilocybin in Christianity, and if people use psilocybin and have Christian experiences, and if there are artworks in history that show psilocybin other than Christian, and each one of these needs to be disproved for the argument that psilocybin is the Creator's hand to be disproven. Of course, you need the evidence for that. This again is the Book of Remembrance. What more proof do you need than a cultural, universal history record and testimony of our conscience? The love of truth is the only solution. And here's Jesus at the cross with his saints gathered around him and the tree of life sprouting in the form of psilocybin mushrooms. Again, another picture of Christ. This is from Notre Dame with the mushrooms behind him. And these are the chapters of the book. Preface. There's a Buddha with an acorn. The acorn is one of the symbols for psilocybin because the cap looks like a mushroom, with the stem being the corn or the acorn. The lion and the lamb. This is an introduction. We won't go through it here. More introduction. The Rosetta Stone of Psychedelics. This was covered in my last video. This basically shows the left-handed and the right-handed path. The left side is Lucifer's name, the morning glory, or the glory of the morning. Its seeds contain LSA, lysergic acid anamines, similar to LSD, though not quite as potent. Usually people eat 14 to 16 seeds of this morning glory to produce mild states of euphoria. However, the active ingredient LSA, just like LSD, seems to work as a key releasing serotonin in the Raphi nuclei to the cortex, the thinking cap of the brain. The thalamus or the hypothalamus, the heart region, does not get that stimulation. And so you saw the first divorce rates of up to 50% among people who are doing LSD therapy. So not a big empathetic entity at all. The psilocybin, of course, is just the opposite. So, quick study of psilocybin. It's grown in jars or in tubs. This is cubensis. These are the symbols for it. You see the circumpunct there, Jesus, the capstone, honey. Solomon said, if you find honey, eat just enough, otherwise you'll throw up. That was a reference, of course, to psilocybin. The other player here is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Amanita muscaria. his symbol is the dragon, the Red Bull of the mountain, the Venus of Willendorf, and Santa Claus, under which he hides himself. Mesoamerica, what we know. So we know about these things because of the studies of the Franciscan friars who went to Mesoamerica and discovered peoples eating psilocybin mushrooms as well as morning glory seeds. The Indians of that day said there was a deity in the seeds of the morning glory, so they didn't need Christianity. This is Maria Sabina, the woman who's in the Bible talked about as the woman born in the desert who gives birth to Christ, the Christ child who is swept up to heaven. That's the psilocybin mushroom. And in the future, we'll see 144,000 saints dedicated to psilocybin who do not take wives. And that's part of Revelation. Again, Maria Sabina, which means Maria, Mary, and Sabina, wise one. All right, let's go back to the Olmecs in 1500 BC. And then we'll close for the day. Up at the top you have jaguar symbols, and around their necks are the psilocybin bell. That's because the jaguar was one of the great symbols for psilocybin. The big cats are the lion over in Europe and the jaguar in Mesoamerica. The eagle, which we saw Luke, is the symbol for the eagle. So that's Christ taking over the symbolism. But here in Mesoamerica you see the eagle and you see the scallop shell, which is denoted as the psilocybin mushroom by its curls. A closer look at that, you'll see the $50 bill has that same scallop shell with the mushroom iconography in it. The cracked bell of liberty. This is a map showing where to find psilocybin, drawn by Native Americans. And the Olmec again had the worship of the feathered serpent, or Lucifer. And he was the morning glory, the glory of the morning. He was used by practitioners to make a potion, and the potion was drunk, producing states of altered, just like there is an altar in the temple, they produce altered states of consciousness. Again, here's the snake symbol, or the morning glory symbol, on a slightly evil-faced Olmec individual who was a practitioner of that slippery serpent. And we'll go to Teotihuacan tomorrow. Okay, that's it for now. It could be done.